Despite reports that Call of Duty was moving away from annual releases, Sledgehammer Games will supposedly be the developers of the next mainline game this year, which will be Modern Warfare 3. There have been multiple leaks surrounding the release recently, but I want to ignore those and focus on the things I want to see in the new game. The Modern Warfare games are some of the only titles in the franchise where the campaign is somewhat at the forefront, and rightly so. Home to some of the best moments in FPS stories, Modern Warfare 3 has big shoes to fill. The rebooted Modern Warfares have been well received on the story front, though improvements can always be made. It is unknown whether Sledgehammer or Infinity Ward will be at the helm for the story, as there is a possibility that each developer will work on different aspects. Modern Warfare 2022 tried to innovate in areas with a larger variety of missions that help to freshen up the formulaic nature of FPS games. While not the gold standard for the franchise by any means, I'd like to see the campaign for the 2023 edition of Modern Warfare continue this varied focus on mission variety. Call of Duty campaigns are usually at their best when there is a compelling villain in our way. With the rumoured return of the original trilogy's Makarov as the main villain, I hope the writers don't lose sight of what made characters like him so compelling. The narrative should not be left aside for the sake of mission variety alone, which at times felt the case for last year's Modern Warfare. I'd like to see the devs strike a good balance between the two, though time will tell on this. We've seen many extra game modes in Call of Duty games, namely Zombies for the Treyarch entry specifically, and Spec Ops for the original Modern Warfare franchise. Rumours have been circulating that Modern Warfare 3 will feature a Zombies mode similar to Outbreak in Call of Duty Cold War. This is something I wouldn't like to see, if I'm being honest. Outbreak was a fun distraction, but it paled in comparison to the original Zombies format, which has become a bit of a lost art these past few years. I wouldn't want to see another Zombies entry unless we are getting back to the original format that fans know and love. Instead, I would like to see the return of both Spec Ops and Survival Mode. Survival Mode did resurface in Modern Warfare 2019 after not being in a game since, I believe, Modern Warfare 3, at least on the mainline entries. Though the Modern Warfare 2019 entry was locked behind PlayStation exclusivity for a long time and just wasn't up to the standard it should have been. Spec Ops also failed to live up to the heights of the original Modern Warfare 2 Spec Ops. Bringing both back in 2023 while actually putting some effort into developing entertaining co-op content would be a huge boon for the new release. With the introduction of DMZ in Modern Warfare 2022, however, it's unlikely that either of these will return, which is a real shame. While by no means a bad mode, it could use many updates to bring it closer to being a top tier game mode. One thing I could suggest for DMZ is bringing a focus on larger scale cooperative missions. Bringing Spec Ops to DMZ could be a great idea and allows for more mission variety within DMZ itself. An example of such a mission could include the storming of an enemy fortress on the map, including some smaller scale moments that may have an effect on the map once the mission is through, at least for that game session. There are also possibilities to allow enemy players into each mission, allowing them to take control of enemy forces in an attempt to foil your mission. GTA Online, despite its many flaws, features multiple missions and heists that help to liven up the experience and are a great example of what can be achieved in an online cooperative environment. Now let's move on to the full multiplayer experience. I'm going to avoid Warzone here, as I do consider it a separate entity. Call of Duty's multiplayer has been severely neglected since Warzone's original release. Uninspired maps, poor gun balancing and consistent issues which have plagued each multiplayer entry since the release of Modern Warfare 2019. Focusing just on Modern Warfare 2022, while there was a clear map design improvement over the 2019 release, it still failed in many aspects to provide the traditional experience many love. Only 10 maps were available at launch, with over half met with lackluster and overall poor receptions. Gunplay itself left a lot to be desired, and movement was panned by fans who had grown to love the style of gameplay from the past few entries. While there have been attempts to add more maps to the list with each passing season, many fans go back to the grinds of maps such as Shipment and Shoot House, which are two of the best and most popular maps in the series, but they're also the most viable to complete the poorly constructed weapon camo challenges that the developers push out every game. I'd love to see full focus on improving the multiplayer experience in this entry. The developers need to listen to fan feedback and really construct a multiplayer experience that will grasp fans from the offset. Less of a focus on providing new maps every season and more of a focus on providing great maps from the start. Listen to feedback from last year's entry and create a gameplay experience that reflects that. I'd also personally like to see a mix of old school maps be brought back from previous Modern Warfare trilogy. While we have been seeing some of these maps return, there was not nearly enough as was rumoured originally, and almost none at release. This is only the starting point for improving the multiplayer aspect. The developers will really need to look back at what made games of the past so popular, while also not throwing away many of the innovations that we see today in modern multiplayer games. So that's what I want to see in 2023's Modern Warfare 3. I know it's a little bit optimistic on, well, all of these points, but we'll have to see. I know some of the points I made were quite basic, but I'm not asking for a lot in some of these aspects, especially from well-known game developers. Let us know in the comments any of the changes or additions you would like to see in the next Call of Duty game, or any of the changes that I suggested that you agree with. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more content like this coming soon.